Good evening. Thank you for joining us on the News on NT International, reaching you live from Abuja. I am Ruth Aguele. Let's begin with the headlines. President Buhari in South Africa on invitation of President Cyril Ramaphosa ahead of talks as 9th Binational Commission meeting between the two countries is in progress. House of Representatives inaugurates standing committees. And victory for governors of Kano, Plateau and Sokoto states at Election Petition Tribunal. Let's get the news in details now. The Federal Executive Council this Wednesday approved a total of 15.77 billion naira augmentation on the rate of some existing road projects. The two affected are the Suleja-Mina Lambata Road and Ibadan-Lagere-Ilesha bypass. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
Before departing for South Africa for a 3-day official visit to that country, President Muhammadu Buhari presided over the Federal Executive Council meeting where approvals were given for the augmentation on some road contracts. After about 3.5 hours of deliberation, Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, walked in with Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Raji Fashola, for a press briefing on the issues of the day.
Ilesha bypass, I think, is seeking for an augmentation from 6.7 billion naira to 9.8 billion naira. And the second one is an approval for the augmentation again of the contract for the utilization of the Suleja Lambata Mina Road Phase 2. Here again, we're seeking the augmentation. We saw the augmentation and got approval from 23.6 billion to 36.2 billion.
It's important to also emphasize that all of these are in keeping first with the desire and determination to focus on projects that can be completed rather than just starting new projects. They are also consistent with the realities of economic rates, market price indices for road inputs like cement, iron rod, diesel, petrol and lubricants, and the changes that have taken place on the national economic stage with regard to those prices.
Minister Babatunde Fashola was asked on the present position on public-private partnership on road maintenance and construction.
There is no law that prohibits tolling in Nigeria today. We expect to return toll plazas. We have concluded their designs of what they will look like, what material they will be built with, what new considerations must go into them. What we are looking at now and trying to conclude is how the back end runs. And that is important because we want to limit significantly, if not totally eliminate cash at the plazas, while ensuring that electronic devices that are being used do not impede rapid movement.
In the State House, Jide Onifade, and the news.
And in other news, President Muhammadu Buhari has left Abuja for the Republic of South Africa to honor an invitation by President Cyril Ramaphosa ahead of their high talks on the welfare of Nigerians. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the president is visiting South Africa against the backdrop of the recent xenophobic attacks, the evacuation of hundreds of Nigerians, as well as the exchange of visits by special envoys of the two countries. While in Pretoria, the Nigerian leader will hold a town hall meeting with Nigerians living in that country with a view to sharing their experiences and to reassure them of his administration's commitment to working for the protection of lives and property of Nigerians, as well as to promote peaceful coexistence President Buhari and his host will preside over the South Africa-Nigeria Binational Commission and also participate in South Africa-Nigeria Business Forum. The president is accompanied by the governors of Kano, Plateau and Ebonyi states, as well as several ministers, and are expected back on Friday. In another development, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyeama, and his South African counterpart, Naledi Pandor, have resolved to increase tempo in deepening the bilateral relations between the two countries, which they have described as an engine for rapid growth and development of both countries. This is the highlight of the ministerial meeting of the 9th session of the Binational Commission between Nigeria and the Republic of South Africa, currently taking place in Johannesburg, South Africa. Let's hear from Aliyu Kabir.
The ministerial meeting of the 9th session of the Binational Commission between Nigeria and the Republic of South Africa was a prelude to the deliberations expected to take place on Thursday, October 3rd, 2019, between Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari and his counterpart of the Republic of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa. The ministerial meeting, which was co-chaired by Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyeama, and that of the Republic of South Africa, Naledi Pandor, is coming after 6 years, and it is against the backdrop of recent xenophobic attacks on Nigerians and other foreign nationals in South Africa. But beyond the issue of xenophobia, the meeting, according to the ministers, was aimed to address all areas of development such as trade, diplomatic relations, science and technology, and visa policy, among others.
A very important development was the agreement immediately to set up an early warning system, which will mean the regular meeting of Nigerian embassy, High Commission here, consulate with the South African side. So regularly, and sharing information, and also with the Nigerian Union of South Africa. So that way, if there any sort of looming crisis, the highest level of the government of South Africa will be able to get that information, share it with the Nigerians, and you can take preventive measures early. So that's a very important agreement. And then also in other areas, immigration, visas for officials, defense cooperation.
I wish, Honourable Minister, at the outset to thank you for the assistance you gave to us during the recent outbreak of violence against some foreign nationals in our country and many of our own citizens. We have expressed regret at these terrible events on several occasions.
Some of the participants shared their experiences.
At the end of the day, we have been able to understand ourselves in a very much better diplomatic position, and we have been able to show the world that as two big brothers in Africa, we are in a position to resolve our own issues without getting to get anybody to do that for us.
Both sides have acknowledged the trouble of xenophobic and promised to make amends. It will be reflected in the communique that will come out tomorrow from the head of states.
But more importantly, we've looked at critical areas of doing business in Nigeria. Trying to see how can we improve on our trade relations.
Strategies have been looked at on how these two countries can further come together with those objectives, not just for the two countries, but for the betterment and development of Africa and its people in general.
This is the first time the meeting of the Binational Commission is elevated to the level of heads of state, with optimism of promoting unity and development for the mutual benefit of the two countries. In Johannesburg, South Africa, Aliyu Kabir, NTA.
And from South Africa, we go to Dakar, where the Intergovernmental Action Group Against Money Laundering in West Africa has advocated legal framework to combat money laundering and terrorism financing in the sub-region and other member states. The Director General made the advocacy at a World Press Conference in Dakar, the capital of Senegal. Daily Atumbi reports.
Money laundering and terrorism financing are transnational crimes that take their toll on national economy and are a serious threat to national security. The recognition of these threats and the need to combat them headlong made the authority of heads of state and government of the Economic Community of West African States to establish the Intergovernmental Action Group Against Money Laundering in West Africa in the year 2000. At inception, GIABA has the mission to fight money laundering, but with the increase in the activities of terrorists, made ECOWAS to add combating terrorist financing to its mission in 2007. The Director General of GIABA, Kelema Balo Haba, identified the feats of the sub-regional organ and the challenges. He said the legal frameworks in various countries towards curtailing money laundering must be in line with international standard and the recommendations of Financial Action Task Force, FATF. GIABA was of the opinion that the sources of financing terrorism must be blocked to reduce the activities of terrorists all over the world. He promised that GIABA, as an organ of the Economic Community of West African States, will continue to build the capacity of member states to reduce money laundering. GIABA also identified public corruption as a serious source of money laundering in the sub-region. GIABA, which has 2 countries in addition to the 15 member states of ECOWAS, also has dual status of being sub-regional organ and the Financial Action Task Force without an enforcement power. From Dakar, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
And still on the foreign scene, Malian troops came under attack by militants along Burkina Faso border area. An Israeli Prime Minister faces final findings in corruption allegations. Details of this and more with Ado Adamu also.
Hello and thank you for joining us on this segment of the news. At least 25 Malian soldiers are dead and 60 more are missing after militants attacked 2 army outposts, the government said. Camps in the towns of Bokassa and Mondoro near the border with Burkina Faso came under attack on Monday. Government troops killed 15 of the militants and have since recaptured the area, but lost a lot of equipment. Malian forces have now launched a joint operation with Burkina Faso and French forces in the region. Moving on, a priceless 18th century Ethiopian crown is set to be returned from the Netherlands years after a former refugee found it in a suitcase that had been left behind by a visitor. Sirak Asfar, who fled oppression in Ethiopia during the late 1970s, says he discovered the ornate gilded copper crown back in 1998, saying he knew it had been stolen, but had until recently felt it would not be safe to return it due to the political situation back home. The former refugee, who now works as a management consultant for the Dutch government, said it felt good to be given back part of Ethiopia's cultural heritage. And Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is facing a series of financial hearings before a decision is made on whether to charge him with corruption. Mr. Netanyahu is alleged to have accepted gifts from wealthy businessmen and dispensed favors to try to get more positive press coverage. The Attorney General is expected to reach a final decision by the end of December. And that is it from here. Thank you for your time. I am Ado Ademwalso.
Thank you, Ado. And back home on legislative matters, in line with its standing rules of the House of Representatives, it has inaugurated standing and special committees to facilitate the work of legislation for the 9th Assembly. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that the event was witnessed by former presiding and principal officers.
Standing committees are seen as the engine room of the legislature because it is at the committee level that policy proposals, recommendations and actions are considered for subsequent adoption by Parliament. The Speaker, House of Representatives Femi Gbajabiamila, while inaugurating the committees, further stressed their essence to the polity and therefore urged stakeholders to extend required cooperation.
In furtherance of our shared objectives of national development, peace, progress, and prosperity for all. This is a time that calls for determined efforts to achieve substantive reform and ensure that our country can overcome its challenges and take advantage of the opportunities that abound for economic advancement and social development. I trust that as you recognize these realities, your efforts will reflect this recognition and be motivated by it.
A former Speaker of the House, Gali Umar Abba, used the occasion to remind the legislators of their responsibilities, especially at this moment of the nation's history.
The very existing laws have either been amended or even repealed, but still the courts adjudicated with them. And it is your responsibility to look at these aspects, our laws, and with a view to doing this sort of work.
The events featured paper presentations on the significance of the committees to legislative work.
This ninth legislature should not confront anybody. You can get whatever you want through diplomacy. You can get it through give and take. You can get it through mutuality of understanding and exchange of ideas. There is no need for confrontation.
Critical to the life of a parliament are the documentation, preservation, and dissemination of committee reports. Preservation of these reports is the institutional memory of the Parliament.
The committees inaugurated, 109 in number, include 4 special committees. Each committee consists of either 40 or 30 members and is vested with the responsibility of oversighting ministries, departments and agencies of government for checks and balances. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Time now for a break, so do stay with us. We'll be back.
Hey, you! And are you how they talk to? I sabi you now. It's in day your mind, Abi. The person with them go help us. Baba Toros and Shangalo, Oga Legova, Mr. Sabi. And you know if we carry last for this one.
A spear into the top corner.
We sabi say Peking will crawl before in waka. So don't look, no help anybody. No dolly, no. So go for it. Go for football. Go for all Syria on the Liga matches live. Go for Go TV Max.
Thanks for staying tuned. Nigerians, wherever they reside, are contributing positively towards the development of the society, and the Nigerian government says it will continue to give necessary support whenever it is needed. Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo stated this at the 2019 Independence Day Gala Night held at the State House Conference Center. State House correspondent Jide Onifadi with reports.
The night climaxed a week-long activities marking Nigeria's 59th Independence Day anniversary. In the views of Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, the nation may not be like the advanced countries yet, but the nation is certainly on the right track and will soon arrive at the desired destination.
Today is a day that we celebrate our nation and its great people. We celebrate the sterling labors of our heroes past, the sacrifices of so many that have enabled us to be this great nation that we are. We recognize that we're here because so many paid the price, and that we're going forward because many are still making the sacrifice. But this evening, I also want to share with you something lighter, but as important. One of the unique attributes of the Nigerian person. I've described it as the Nigerian swag. That uniquely confident way that makes us stand out everywhere and in everything that we do.
Benedict Orama speaks on a topic that challenged the assumptions and opportunities around Nigeria's economic growth and sustainable development.
The optimal industrialization strategy for Nigeria should be one that emphasizes labor-intensive industrialization.
As we have set the platform and trajectories for the next level movement that will transform the lives of all Nigerians, we are determined to build on the foundation of change already laid in the last 4 years, as we continue to fight against corruption, insecurity, and return our economy on the path of sustainable growth.
It's a night many would have loved to take to the dancing floor for the achievement of the country, but these maidens from Calabar, Cross River State, still the show. From the State House Conference Center, Jude Onifade, NT News.
And still on Nigeria's 59th anniversary, the prosperity of any nation is not solely determined by its natural resources, but also by human resources. This is because the ability of nations to rise and consolidate the gains of globalization lies on its effective management of its human resources. As Nigeria celebrates 59 years of independence, correspondent Olayinka Ojo in this special report takes a look at situated Nigerian youth for national development.
It is often said that no nation will experience development when the majority of the population, which constitutes the largest percentage of the population, are idle and ineffective. In Nigeria, the youths need to be more focused, creative and disciplined if they are to become real agents of change in the country.
Shun nepotism, shun corruption.
Do you think those who compiled the Nigerian anthem and the Nigerian pledge, did you think they are joking? They said, let the suffering of our fathers, let it not go in vain. So you, wherever you are, don't let it go in vain.
Irrespective of our ethnicity, irrespective of where we come from or what we do, we should have unity in mind.
Let us pick one Nigeria.
And with the growing recognition of the need to strengthen policies and investment involving young people, economic experts say the agriculture and ICT sectors are some areas the youth can truly make enormous impact in the country.
At the level of the digital skills, which I've become an advocate, that beyond the paper certificates that we have now, the youth need to have a level of digital skills and literacy, which is a hard-on.
There's no quick, easy way in life. You know, everything is through hard work, dedication, and focus. And so if you're just looking to get rich quick, it doesn't happen like that unless you win the lottery.
According to the leadership of one of the highest youth schemes in the country, knowledge and skills have become the global currency, and Nigeria's current demographic structure can be future assets by 2030, as Nigerian youths, not oil, are the future of Nigeria in the 21st century.
The core member sees the Nigeria as our own project, and it's our belief that the NYS will continue to contribute to the socio-economic development of Nigeria.
As the nation celebrates its 59th independence anniversary, it is evident that youths are the leading lights of the nation and the hope for tomorrow. Therefore, projecting their contributions to national development will determine how best to make Nigeria great. Olayinka Ojo, NTA News.
And to judiciary now, the Governorship Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Kano has upheld the election of Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje on the March 2019 general election. Chairman of the tribunal, Justice Halima Shamaki, said the petition filed by the People's Democratic Party and its governorship candidate Abba Kabir Yusuf was dismissed for lack of merit. Awal Salisu reports.
The People's Democratic Party (PDP) has challenged the victory of Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje in the election, saying its candidate Abba Kabir Yusuf is the winner of the March 2019 polls. The All Progressive Congress (APC) raised a preliminary objection against the petition for lacking in merit. After cross-examination of the witnesses, the tribunal headed by Justice Halima Shamaki said the petitioners did not present any concrete evidence that warrant the nullification of the election results. She said all the evidences presented were not proven and are lacking in merit. Justice Shamaki, after dismissing the case, thanked the parties for their cooperation and support to the tribunal for doing justice to all matters before it.
Apart from other technical points on jurisdiction, that even the drafting of the petition was wrong, not in accordance with the law.
The tribunal held that decision by INEC was in accordance with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
We will collect a copy of the judgment, study it, and advise the clients accordingly.
The petitioners, however, have the right to appeal the judgment. In Kano, Awal Salisu, NTA News.
And meanwhile, Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje of Kano State has formally reacted to the affirmation of his election by Kano State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal. describing it as a high morale booster for diligent service to the people of the state. Speaking to correspondent Adam Musambo shortly before his departure to South Africa on the entourage of President Buhari, the governor said the verdict attests to the ordination of his divine mandate.
We have started gigantic programs including the free and compulsory primary and secondary education in Kano, and also we have started the integration of Almajiri system, and also we have started, giving quality education to our children. So I think that program is very, very important. That is one. Two, because of the problem of herdsmen and farmers, we have introduced a program of resettlement of the Fulani, which we have started work on that, and we are going to improve the quality of life, and the socio-cultural nature of the herdsmen will be changed to socio-economic, and we are working on that, especially with the introduction of artificial insemination. So we are taking the state forward. Other important issues in agriculture, we are doing very well, and there are so many rice mills now in Kano because the production of rice has gone very, very high. So we want to join hands to all opposition so that we take Kano to the next level.
And in the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari has congratulated Governors Abdullahi Umar Ganduje of Kano and Simon Lalong of Plateau States on the affirmation of their victories at the state's governorship election petition tribunal. The president described the verdict of the tribunal as a victory for democracy, while commending the people of Kano and Plateau States for maintaining peace. The president therefore urged the governors to unite the people of the states and ensure good governance and accountability. President Buhari assured them that the federal government will continue to work with states to boost economic growth and security of lives and property. And that concludes the news at 7 on NT International. Thanks for your time. Do have a pleasant evening. I'm Ruth Aguele.